Good evening. A photography company has apologised after parents were offered a choice of class photos which included or didn't include children with complex needs. Parents at a Boyne primary school in Aberdeenshire had complained when they were sent a link from Tempest Photography offering them alternative pictures. First Minister Humza Yousaf has described this as outrageous and shameful. He said it must never happen again in any school in the country. Louise Hosey reports.
Parents were left shocked after receiving the option to order a class photo from a Boyne primary school, either with or without children with complex needs. One parent whose daughter has additional support needs and was not included in one of the photos told BBC Scotland News it was beyond belief. Now, it's understood that some class photographs were taken before the pupils with additional support needs were brought in. Despite then capturing pictures which included all the pupils, parents were still given the option of both. Today, the company involved, Tempest Photography, said one of its photographers had taken additional images which had omitted some class members. It says it deeply regrets any upset caused and has apologised to the parents and children who were affected. Aberdeenshire Council has also apologised. It says that the decision to have optional photos was not the school's and that the school has now terminated its contract with the company.
Proposals to hold rape trials in Scotland without juries have split an influential committee of MSPs. The move's part of a package of reforms being put forward by the Scottish Government. Our Home Affairs correspondent David Cowan reports.
This bill proposes radical reforms to Scotland's justice system. Some have widespread support, others are deeply controversial. If passed, the legislation would abolish the centuries-old verdict of not proven. The Criminal Justice Committee supports that, but it's split down the middle over plans for a pilot of judge-only rape trials.
So there is work that we feel that the government does need to do to provide more reassurance that the pilot and some of the other provisions in the bill can go forward.
That split was welcomed by defence lawyers who plan to boycott the pilot if it goes ahead.
It's all very well to portray this as a pilot scheme, but these are real people, these will be real convictions, and there will be no going back on them.
The committee says it didn't hear enough evidence to support plans for smaller juries and a change in the rules on majority verdicts. That's been welcomed by one group which helps victims of rape.
I am so relieved to see this. I think one of the unintended consequences, because I'm sure the government didn't mean this, but I think potentially if this remains in the bill, the overall impact of the bill will be fewer rape convictions.
Inevitably, there'll be amendments and changes to this very large piece of legislation. But the important thing is that we have consensus that this bill has huge potential to change the experience of victims and witnesses, particularly those who are complainers in sexual offences cases.
This landmark bill will face many more months of scrutiny before it becomes law. David Cowan reporting Scotland.
The man who helped to broker the deal for Donald Trump's first golf resort in Scotland has claimed that the country was hoodwinked by his pledge to invest £1 billion in it. The development on the Many estate in Aberdeenshire was controversially granted planning permission by the Scottish Government in 2012 on the grounds that the potential economic benefit would outweigh any environmental harm. But not all of the planned investment has come to fruition, as Andrew Picken reports.
Hundreds of millions of pounds of investment. The whole project will be an extremely expensive project, $1 billion project. $2 billion or £1 billion to come into Aberdeenshire, to come into Scotland.
Donald Trump's return to his ancestral roots in Scotland came with the promise of a huge investment. It was this economic gain that saw his golf resort approved by the Scottish Government despite environmental concerns. Neil Hobday kick-started the Aberdeenshire deal. Back then, he was the man to welcome Mr. Trump off his private jet to Scotland. But now he has some regrets about what has happened since.
6 years of my life was justifying the approval based on the economic and social benefit to Aberdeenshire, North East Scotland and Scotland. That's what I believed in.
The golf course that's been built on the Many estate has won the support of some local firms and suppliers, but the original proposal was for much more.
The $1 billion came from the capital expenditure of the building of the hotel and the homes, the holiday homes, the 2 golf courses. Those things have not come to pass. And I feel very hoodwinked and ashamed that I fell for it, and Scotland fell for it.
It's been an interesting day. No place like Scotland.
The golf resort has not made a profit since it opened in 2012, and latest figures show it has just 81 employees instead of the thousands of jobs that were promised. Trump International Scotland said the company had invested hundreds of millions of pounds into the Scottish economy, and that both the Many Course and Trump Turnberry are globally acclaimed and responsible for driving thousands of international visitors into the country each year. They added that in spite of the many global economic challenges, the Trump organisation has delivered on its promise to build one of the greatest modern links golf course of all time in Aberdeen. Construction work on a second golf course at the Many Estate is underway, but like many things at Mr Trump's resort, it is unclear when it will be completed. Andrew Pickin, reporting Scotland.
And you can listen to the podcast series Trumped, the decades-long battle between a small Scottish community and Donald Trump's golf dream, on BBC Sounds. Rangers and Celtic are to provide Derby ticket allocations of around 5% for away supporters from next season. Visiting fans have not been present at recent Old Firm matches because of a ticketing dispute. The new agreement would allow about 2,500 Celtic fans at Ibrox Stadium, while around 3,000 Rangers fans could travel to Celtic Park. Let's get the weather now with Christopher. And what joy can you promise us for the Easter weekend?
A bit of sunshine and warming up, Sally. Thanks very much indeed. Very good evening to you. Some decent spells of sunshine for many parts of the country today, but a few showers around, the odd rumble of thunder and some hail as well. And into this evening and overnight, further showery outbreaks of rain, variable clouds, some clear spells. Temperatures for many towns and cities around 3 to 5 Celsius, but colder in and around Inverness, down close to freezing, if not sub-zero in the countryside. To tomorrow then, and we have thicker cloud across parts of west central Scotland, working northwards with some showers. Elsewhere, the cloud thinning and breaking, but that will spark a number of rain showers too, and they'll be fairly slow moving. Catch one could be heavy, maybe some hail and thunder, but temperatures up to 11 or 12 Celsius by mid-afternoon. And then looking ahead towards Easter Sunday, it's a chilly start, some mist and fog around. For many, though, dry with some spells of sunshine. In the west, 14 degrees, but cloud and low cloud likely to linger around some eastern coasts. And of course, don't forget this weekend, clocks go forward 1 hour overnight, Saturday to Sunday. That's the forecast for now. Sally.
Thanks a lot, Chris. And that is all for now. Laura Miller will be here with the late bulletin at just after 10:20 tonight. But for now, do enjoy your evening and have a happy Easter. Bye-bye.